Hello everybody and welcome to the Prester John achievement playthrough. As you can see here, I already started this one. We're not going to be continuing that game because while Iron Man is enabled, I discovered while previewing the video that actually achievements were not enabled. So we will be restarting this Prester John achievement run. Luckily, I only got 3 episodes in before I discovered it. The entire goal of this is going to be to reunite the entire Coptic faith, pretty much. We are going to be playing as Ethiopia, we are Coptic, and pretty much the game plan is going to be to take Alexandria and then move up this way through Jerusalem, taking Constantinople. So that's going to be exciting. I'm not entirely certain how we're going to pull off beating the Ottomans, but it should be interesting. So let's go ahead and get this started. This will be Iron Man. As you can see this time, achievements can be earned this session, so that's good. Let's go ahead and play that, and we're going to be overwriting this previous save. Start that Iron Man, and now we have the glorious loading screen. We do start with this right here, this rebellion. That's going to be interesting to deal with. They're very, very close to enforcing their demands. But we are the Empire of Ethiopia in 1444, 11 November 1444 to be precise. Ethiopia, under the Salamanid king Zara Yaqub, is experiencing a golden age of expansion and inner strength. In many ways, this dynamic empire is dominating the entire region. However, the many Muslim and pagan states of the Horn of Africa all view this expansion of a militant Christian empire with fear and contempt. Further down the Nile, the last remnants of the Christian Nubian kingdoms are fighting for their survival against Mamluks in the north, as well as the local Muslim tribal federations that have moved into the area. We are Coptic. We get these bonuses here, which aren't particularly relevant. The important thing about Coptic faith is we get pretty big bonuses when we conquer our holy sites and control those. So that's going to be very, very interesting. We're a standard monarchy, and we start in Africa, relative isolation from the rest of the world, but Europe will eventually show up, and they are going to be annoying. So we go ahead and start right here with this rebellion, and they're very, very close to enforcing their demands. This province will declare independence in 1 month, according to this. Luckily, we do have just enough time to deal with this. They have a decent leader, 3 shock. We have no leader whatsoever. So we'll go ahead and poke our generals because they can produce us a 40 army tradition leader compared to our, what do we have? 15 army tradition pretty much. So we'll go ahead and we will grant a generalship. We'll also make our manpower pretty upset. Go ahead and demand the military support. And we will also raise additional levies. We will be needing those. We will be going to war a lot in this early game. We will also pretty much immediately go on to military focus. We get decent income because our ruler is amazing. Zara Yaqub has fantastic stats. But we're going to pretty much immediately switch over to that so that we can get our military tech up very, very quickly. We do have too few rivals. Adal has rivaled us. We'll go ahead and rival them back. That is perfectly fine. These guys are Adal here. So they are going to be our major enemy for now. We probably won't be fighting them immediately, but we will fight them soon enough. We made our nobility a little angry, and we have a fair amount of provincial unrest. We cannot afford any advisors anytime soon. We're losing money, and that is not going to be changing for quite some time. There is disputed succession in some nearby areas. That won't really be too big of a thing there. And we can convert some of these provinces to Coptic, but those are going to take a very long time. Let's do something about that, shall we? We can, in fact, pick a blessing for the Coptic faith. I do like manpower recovery speed quite a lot, but I think we should go with missionary strength to start with. We're going to be converting a lot of Sunnis, and Sunnis are hard to convert. That cut that more than half, actually. Pretty close to in a third. So we'll go ahead and do that. We'll start that happening. That's not going to be helping our financial situation. So that's going to be very, very exciting. Let's take a look at how good of a leader we rolled up. That is a terrible leader that we rolled up. That's going to be fun. Well, hopefully we don't lose to these guys. Let's go ahead and just we're going to need a primary combat width of 8, since they have 6 infantry and 2 cavalry. So let's go ahead and come into here. We will pull out 8 units of infantry and all of our cavalry. These 2 can go ahead and come up here. They have our general. We probably want to move our general over here, even though he's only got the 1 fire pip. He can maneuver these guys in here faster. These guys are walking to Dembia, so we'll walk our primary army there and fight them. And these guys can start capping this, and hopefully we get there in time to actually not have them enforce those demands. That would be very, very useful. Now, as far as our diplomats go, oftentimes Genjiro gets attacked by Kaffa. However, sometimes Genjiro decides to ally Weleda, and that would be kind of annoying. So I'm going to go ahead and start fabricating claims, or rather building a spy network, in both of those, so that way, no matter what happens, we always have something that we can do over there. Medjugorje likes us quite a bit. Let's go ahead and ally them. They'll be a pretty decent ally for us. Offer them an alliance. And as far as our merchants go, we have access to just the Ethiopia trade node, and that is just an outgoing trade node, so that really kind of sucks. We can collect from trade here. It won't really do much, but we might as well. Nothing else we can do with our merchants. So hopefully we pull this off and nothing too bad happens with these guys here. We do have 12,000 manpower, but that will be going away very, very quickly. So let's take a look at this and see how that goes. Medjugorje did decide to enter an alliance with us. That's not a surprise. Let's go ahead and go up to speed 3. Our nobles are demanding privileges. The privileges of the nobility have been under continuous assault as Zara Yakub, that's us, have continued to centralize more and more control. The nobles have finally lost their patience and are demanding that they are given back what they believe is rightfully theirs. Well, we can accept their claims and lose 10 prestige. We are at 0 prestige. Or we can ignore their demands and they lose 5 loyalty. They already hate us quite a lot. And we get +2 national unrest. That's not a great event. In fact, it's a pretty terrible event. Let's take a look at our build interface here at our local autonomy. We can use that to see what our actual unrest is. Our unrest is pretty low. When we put this down, that's going to be that's going to deal with this over here for sure. I think we can safely-ish ignore their demands. We'll go ahead and do that. Adal hates us. Medjugorje wants a royal marriage. We'll go ahead and do that. And with any luck, this doesn't have any problems. The Holy Heart of Ethiopia. Once Axum was the heart of the ancient Axumite Empire, a bastion of Christian power situated at the crossroads of Africa, Arabia, and the Greco-Roman world. Among the obelisks and palace ruins, we have rebuilt the church of this mighty nation of old. The greatest of them all is the Church of Our Lady Mary of Zion. It is the place where we crown our emperors, the descendants of Menelik I, who was the son of King Solomon and the Queen of Sheba. It is here he brought the Ark of the Covenant. Every year, thousands of pilgrims from the furthest reaches of our empire and beyond visit this holy place. Once more, Axum will shine with God's infinite glory, 10 free prestige. Well, that'll help us in this battle against the rebels, for sure. Which looks like it's going okay, despite the fact that our general is awful. It's a little tighter than I would have liked, but we won that, wiped them up. And now that we're doing this, we got there in time, and Simeon will not, in fact, be declaring independence anytime soon. We'll go ahead and walk these guys over to Shua. We don't need to be paying for the fort here, in fact. We can just go ahead and destroy that, so that we're not paying for that. We're really far in the hole right now, as far as money goes. We do have a diplomat free. We should probably start fabricating on Alodia. Let's go ahead and do that. Alodia is probably going to ally with Makuria up here. They like to do that. In fact, they already have. Genjiro did not ally, so it looks like Kaffa is probably going to declare war on them. Treason against Ethiopia. That's no good. We don't want treason. Recruitment is out of necessity something that has to be a somewhat decentralized affair. Often it will be entrusted to nobles in the capital, and then they are responsible to turn up a set number of men in the various provinces under our control. This is a system that to some extent relies on trust, as the central government is not involved in the details of countryside mustering, and the only form of control we have are the often sporadic inspections the army itself conducts. One such inspection in Ankober has unearthed quite a local scandal. The rolls we have for the area is full of fictional names, and nobody seems to know what we could actually muster from the region. This is unfortunate. We could lose 2.5% army professionalism and minus 50% manpower modifier for Shua for 10 years, or we must punish the perpetrator and conduct our own survey. Well, the nobility would lose 10 more loyalty, currently at 10.4. We would gain army professionalism, which would be nice, and we gain reassessment survey until February of 55, so 10 years there. 8 unrest, minus 25% local manpower. Another bad event. Losing 2.5 army professionalism will actually do nothing for us. We have no army professionalism right now, and I don't believe it can go negative. I would normally pick this one, but our nobility estate is so low as it is. I think we should probably go ahead and just do this. It's gonna suck for a while, but our army professionalism can't go any lower. Might as well recruit up. Let's not go all the way to the force limit, but perhaps up to 15. That should be okay. All the way up to the force limit is going to be pretty expensive. We should also potentially think about allying Eneria here. We could also maybe just conquer them outright. That might not be the worst idea. Who does Adal dislike? Hadramut, Yemen, and Beja they've allied with. That's interesting. We could potentially use that to fight them without fighting their allies. Fighting Beja, that is. They do not like us, Warsangali, or Medribari. Okay. Sounds good. Kaffa should be declaring war on Genjiro pretty soon here, theoretically, if I understand this correctly. Because Genjiro did not ally anyone around here, Kaffa is going to view them as fair game. We should, however, probably stop building in Elodia briefly, and instead build in Eneria, just so that we can consolidate all of this down here under our control. We do have Hadia and Damat as our vassals to start with, so that is excellent. When are we going to get military tech 4? 1448, 3 years. So we're certainly going to go to war before then. We do currently only have 7,000 manpower. That will be quite interesting. And we're losing money relatively fast, almost a ducat a month. We can't keep this up forever. So as soon as this happens here, or rather as soon as this happens, since we cannot in fact fabricate a claim on Kaffa yet without holding Genjiro, unless Damat has a claim here, and they do not. However, Genjiro has a claim on Waleda. That's interesting. The itinerant capital. In order to control the diverse Ethiopian empire, the Salamanids have never established a permanent capital. Sounds efficient. Instead, the royal court travels from chief to chief every few months. Very efficient. While it's hard to establish an administrative continuity under such circumstances, the traveling court does have its benefits. The frequent visits of the royal courts in all corners of the empire are contributing to the growth of a common elite culture in our lands. We can gain one's stability saying this is how it's always been, or we can actively encourage the cultural conversion of the countryside. And that would give us minus 0.5 national unrest, plus 10% stability cost. We're not really going to change our stability anytime soon. At least not pay for it. And minus 5% culture conversion cost. We're not going to convert cultures either. We don't really have that much of a rebellion issue. At least not anything that 0.5 would change. Besides, we get 1 for having positive stability, so this is just better, I think. We can come into here and see that that is worth 214 admin power. No, we have 214 admin power. It's worth 136 admin power. So this is just a better option, I think. Let's go ahead and go for that. So that's a free stability. Excellent. We do very, very much want to capture Kaffa, since that has gold in that there province. There's gold in them there hills. Highlands. Not quite hills. Close to hills. Rolling landscape of shifting elevation. Centralization reforms of Zara Yaqub. That's us! Under the care of the Solomonic dynasty, Ethiopia has grown from a kingdom into a great empire. However, the diverse regions under our rule lack a common language, religion, or administrative system. Well, that doesn't sound Austro-Hungarian at all. Zara Yaqub, the most able ruler Ethiopia has seen in a long time, has prepared a number of reforms that might go a long way towards creating a more unified state. Well, clearly what we need is not a more unified state, in fact, but what we need is two separate armies that don't speak the same language and have no way of communicating with each other. That's how you win wars. So let's go ahead and gain the free stability. We can centralize later. +2 stability already. That's pretty nice. We do have our spy network at large enough for Kaffa to fabricate, but we need it on Genjiro. Kaffa's probably going to declare war here in the next month or so. We'll see. If not, we will swoop in and take Genjiro from them. If they do, we will still swoop in and take all of them from them. But they did not. We can go ahead and fabricate our claim here. And so we shall. Pull back our diplomat from there, since we don't really need him there anymore. Now we have the Conquest CB, and Waleda declared war on them. Of course they did. We might be able to get there in time to take advantage of this, though. We'll declare our own war. We'll take Genjiro. Medjugorje doesn't want in. That's fine. We don't need their help. These guys in Waleda are not yet walking, so we'll see if we can get there before they can. Potentially. If so, then the siege is ours, and this is pointless. We can vassalize Genjiro, though, and that'll pull us into this here war. And we did get there in time. Okay, excellent. We only need 3,000 troops here, but because there are potential losses, we'll go ahead and pull out all but 4,000 troops. Although we should probably shift consolidate this first. Go ahead and hold shift while we press consolidate to leave 0 strength regiments there. And now we will pull out all but 4k. About like that. Except we want these guys out and these guys out and these guys in. Hotkeys are failing me once more. Pull these guys out. They have no reason to stay there. Cavalry are very, very expensive to reinforce, and the death penalties, or rather the failures in the siege, actually kill a percentage of our troops, so we want as few troops there as possible. Although rather than moving to Shua, let's have these guys loop around and move into Hadia, since we're almost certainly going to be pulled into the war with Waleda here. The real question, of course, is who has a claim on this? Enaria, and Waleda does. Okay, so that'll allow us to go to war with Kaffa. Very, very convenient. We are currently working on Enaria. We have nowhere to fabricate claims here, so we can stop building our spy network there, since we have no reason to be worried about them anymore. They're not going to go to war with anybody, I suspect. Maybe with Enaria. They do have a claim on Enaria. If they go to war with Enaria, that is fine, though. We're still going to go to war with them via Waleda. So all we need now is for this siege to finish up, and then we will vassalize Genjiro so that we get pulled into this second war here with Waleda. And we will be the war leader, since we will be their overlord, which will be very useful. We might as well have our other diplomat fabricating on Alodia, and potentially on Beja as well, since we do eventually want to fight them. We will need to have our our diplomat back to offer peace once we finish this siege. But he's almost done building our spy network in Enaria, so we should have enough time to finish that up before this siege ends. We are currently taking some attrition here. That's no good. Go ahead and move these guys over here. It's probably because of this 3k stack. And only a supply limit of 9 in that province. It's actually even worse there. Might as well walk into Shua, I guess. We really don't want to be losing out on our manpower too much. So let's go ahead and do that. 28% chance on this siege. We're very, very close now. Food shortage, so now we are up to a 42% chance on the siege. Our vassals just aren't even bothering. I don't blame them. They really don't need to be bothering. This is going to happen any time now, so I'm going to go ahead and move these guys into Hadia. And we also got monetary reforms. Our treasurers are arguing that we need to enact some reforms in our economic policies. A new master of mint will also be needed to take care of the economy. We can enact them, lose a stability, lose an inflation. That's a pretty expensive inflation reduction, especially considering we don't have any inflation. There is no need for reforms. Well, we get our inflation. I'll go ahead and do that. There's no need for inflation reduction as of yet. But the Siege of Janjiro is over, so that war is won. We're at 100% war score. Let's go ahead and fabricate our claim here. Actually, we can't. That is right. We did already move our army into Hadia, so we are prepared for this here. We don't want them to sit there for too long because of their attrition, but we can now offer this piece since we pulled back our Enarian diplomat. Make him into our vassal, Genjiro that is. We'll take 10 ducks, since we're still losing money. We need all the money we can get. Send that. And Genjiro is now our vassal. And we've assumed leadership in the war against Waleda. So let's go ahead and march on into here. And then once these guys are done fighting, they can just walk into Sidamo and siege that. Medribari would be willing to join. I don't see a reason to, though. Peasants in our vassal over here. We'll probably swing up and deal with those in a moment. We just need to get this siege done. They only have 6k troops, though. That's not going to be too big of an issue. In fact, we can just shift consolidate this and pull out 6k troops here, as well as all of our cavalry. And we'll swing these guys up here and deal with these rebels. There is a fort in Demont. They're not going to get very far. And them capturing that shouldn't do anything because of the fort there, but it is a capital fort, which has some special rules. So we'll see how that actually plays out. We have almost no troops left over here because we used our 0 strength regiments for that, but our vassals are coming over. The primary thing is we don't want them building mercenaries here, spending all the money we're about to steal from them. That would be no good. Our siege here is progressing very, very slowly. Kind of to be expected, though. So let's get rid of these rebels. We really don't have any need to call Medribari into this war, so I'm not going to bother with that. Esprit de Corps. The strength. Okay. The strain that military lifestyle puts the men who serve under can, under good circumstances, lead to the development of a spirit of belonging and cooperation that greatly strengthens the armed forces. During the recent conflict with Waleda, we have seen clear signs that our troops are working better together and that they have formed strong bonds of loyalty and duty to the Ethiopian crown, which would have seemed hard to imagine just a few years ago. This is what separates the Ethiopian troops from all other. 3% army professionalism. That is a fantastic event. Let's go ahead and take that. These rebels are dead. We killed them until they died from it. And we'll capture that back real quick. Our troops down here are looting this province. There's 5 ducats worth of loot there. Might as well move these guys down once they're finished capping that. There they go. Move them down there to loot as well. And now at this point we are largely just waiting for this siege to end. So let's think of something to do with this diplomat for the time being. We could offer an alliance to Eneria. That would be a pretty good option. That way Kaffa won't go to war with them. They would actually not accept, though, because we're at war. We would have to end this war first. But they would be a good target for diplo-vassalization here once we finish up these wars. We'll be able to press the claim on Kaffa pretty much immediately after this. And so we shall. One of these days this siege will finish. We are now finally positive, though. And they ran out of loot in this province, so we're not going to be getting much more from that. There is still loot here, though. Another 3 ducats worth. So let's go ahead and grab that. Our spoils of war are almost keeping us afloat. But hey, Ankober was just successfully converted. So let's go ahead and take Angot next as the next conquest for the Coptic faith. There we go. Another Sunni province. While I'm thinking about religion, we might as well go into here, into Hadia, and enforce religion on them so that they just start converting over to Coptic as well. Genjiro, they are already Coptic, as well as Demont, I believe. Yes, they are. Coptic there, and Coptic there. And the siege of Weleda is over, as is this war. So let's go ahead and... They would not accept vassalization. 127% war score. Interesting. Can't actually take this territory. Wait, offer tribute. I was trying to surrender to them. Okay, they would become our vassal. Excellent. Let's grab the 30 ducks that we can from them. We're vassalizing them so that we can press this claim right here on Kaffa. So there we go. We are now done with that war. Go ahead and consolidate our forces over here, because we will be going to war with Kaffa presently. And Aria will now accept our alliance since we're out of war, so I'll go ahead and do that. Perfect. Merge those together. We are taking attrition there, but we're going to be splitting this up very shortly. But for now, I think that's a good place to put a cut in. That was a good first episode. We got ourselves 2 shiny new vassals, and we are well underway in securing this entire region. And it only took us 12,000 lives to do it. So that was a good start. And until then, until sometime, until next time, I will see you guys next time. And I see my signing off has not particularly improved. Well, I'm going to go now, and I'll see you guys next time.